So yeah, uh, as part of the probably the series I'm going to do about this whole purpose of having a purpose in life, and
Mm-hmm.
I think you are my first guest over here. And,
Okay.
yeah, so the idea is basically about discussing this whole concept of purpose economy. I came across.
Mm.
I mean, this has been on my head since I was, I must say, I've been to my school years. I've been always wondering, have always questioned this thing about having a definite purpose or a life having its own meaning, something like that. And only recently I came across this book called The Purpose Economy, where somebody has actually, coined this term as an economy which is based on purpose, and that was very interesting
Mm.
to me. Like it's just not me that who is feeling this. I mean, I somehow connected to this bigger pattern happening in the world, where somebody is saying that it's actually the economy, after the agri economy, the industrial economy, and the IT economy, we have something like purpose economy. uh,
Mm.
and I sent you the link also, no, yesterday, the this actual
Yeah.
the purpose economy, how your desire for impact, personal growth, and communities affecting the world. So,
Mm. Mm.
by this guy, Aaron Hurst. The very
Mm-hmm.
interesting story you might not have noticed. I haven't written in my post there. This
Mm-hmm.
guy, Aaron, who has written this book, his uncle actually coined the term IT economy.
Oh,
He's
okay.
coined the term IT economy, and
Mm-hmm.
when it actually happened, like before it happened, his uncle coined the term IT economy, that something like this is going to happen. And now it's this guy, I mean, चाचा का भतीजा अब कह रहा है कि something like purpose economy will happen. So he has
Mm.
observed few patterns in how we are, and 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 not only him, like even I feel it at some level, like how we are, how all our previous economies were actually more of survival. I mean, they helped us more to survive. I mean, we like, that's how I see it, like how what humans have been trying to do so far to survive on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it started with the food. So we had
Mm-hmm.
economy where I mean, if you look, like agriculture is not really that natural. We devised the plants that we can have our food on our own convenience. Then
Mm-hmm.
outsourced our muscle power, the muscle power we out
Mm.
that happened in the industry economy, and then we outsourced our, now we are somehow outsourcing our mental things, no, like calculating or keeping reminding of tasks, and there are computers to help us. So I think this,
Our intelligence.
yeah,
Yeah.
intelligence. Now, I mean, that's how I look at things.
Mm. Mm.
What has been happening so far. And
Mm-hmm.
now the very interesting point is like, now when we have reached here, I somehow feel like humanity has reached to a point where we have taken good care of our survivals, and now we are asking a very fundamental question. Like, this is the first time in the whole history of humankind when we have this kind of time and energy left with us to ask, like, what we are here to do.
Mm. Mm.
And I mean, and it is not just a quest of few individuals now. It's like everywhere. I mean, it's happening, and it is sooner or later going to become the part of economy also,
Okay. Okay.
everywhere. So yeah, so the whole idea in this talk is to discuss this whole concept of mm, having a purpose, a
Mm-hmm.
societal purpose or a community purpose, an individual purpose, and what is this purpose, and is it really, I mean, is it really just, I mean, it's just me or this guy who is thinking like this, or there are people also who are doing something, in
Mm.
actual life.
Mm.
So while talking to you, I just find you're one of those people who are, I don't know, I get a feeling that you are trying to make your life more meaningful or more purposeful. So it would be
Yeah.
interesting to even know your journey from your own side, what you have been doing so far, how have you made any changes to your life, or your how whatever you do right now, it aligns with your own purpose in life. What you have to say on that?
Okay. Okay. Actually, yeah, I mean, yesterday when I spoke to you, 2 days ago, when we spoke to each other, and it really made me think. It made me go back into hindsight. You have to have a look into your past to know where you stand right now.
Yeah.
And I look back at my life, it is very checkered. It's never been a straight line. It's like, as you said, when you spoke about survival, so like any other uh, Indian growing up in a new economy during the time when everything was booming,
Hmm.
we all wanted to have a job, not a career. Career happened later.
Okay.
First was a job, okay? Because you need to get into a job was the first thing, as you say. Like, like let me survive. Let me first get the first salary in my hand.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me, that it starts from there. And then from the job, it gets into slowly the mind after a few years goes into where am I going? What is the career that I'm dealing into it?
Mhm.
And is this a career? And whenever you think about a career, you think about a long term approach. Like, do I want to go ahead? Do I want to continue in this line? Don't I want to continue in this line? So as far as I am concerned, mine was not planned at all. I think whatever planning, जो भी plan मैंने बनाया था, सब कुछ गई भैंस पानी में, because nothing happened the way it is. But at the same time, I'm also think in hindsight, it was good the way it was supposed to be. So
Okay.
I was in the corporate side, starting in my thing into marketing, which meant like proper hardcore sales.
Okay.
Then from there, I moved into human resources. Then I moved into business development.
Mhm.
And then from there, after doing very well in my career, I chucked it all up because I found it very empty
Okay.
inside. Yeah, I found it very empty inside, thinking, what am I doing? Which is what the purpose, what am I doing this for? So the
Yeah.
money is coming in. Yeah, the money is coming in.
Okay.
I'm comfortable. But is it really making me content and happy? The first word has always been in my mantra in my life. What am I happy?
Okay.
Because that happiness was not coming like some today. If you ask me like what is happiness, I can't describe it because it's not just a feeling; it's an experience.
Okay.
Either you are happy or you're not. It's not like I am feeling happy. It is, are you happy or are you not happy? Simple. So I think I guided my entire thing now when I look at it without planning. Everything was based on whether I'm happy or not.
Mm-hmm.
So the purpose only came about because thinking like I am not happy with what I am in state right now. What can I do about it? So then I went into yoga, taught yoga, learned yoga, taught yoga to many people.
Okay.
Then then I taught to a lot of people. As to travel a lot internationally and do yoga's lifestyle retreats, do the thing, do everything. Then of course the family circumstances, my father had cancer just before he passed away. I went back and did
Mm.
this. After that happened, the next was, what do I want to do? What is the purpose right now? So an idea came about to start a cafe.
Okay.
So yeah, so and again the cafe was not more than a business venture. It was, believe it or not, I wanted to see smiling faces. I wanted to see happy people. I wanted to see a hangout in my city
Mm.
where people could sit together and be happy, have good food, have a lot of conversations. Because
Mm.
one of the things that I came back in the new India, when I came back to India from US, was that there was so much of money
Mm.
happening, and conversations were becoming less,
Oh.
one-on-one conversations. Yeah. So, I mean, the hunched over phones is more now, but even when I came back in 2010, it was the same way. Like everybody were into their phones, everybody was into career and job. So I wanted a hangout space.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, did that make me completely happy when I ran the cafe? No, because the economy of it, the realities of the economy took me into a different spiral where I realized that, oh, my intent was this. But to get to that intent is easier said than done, because there is this system, this is external, internal economy system that is really not cooperating for me as an entrepreneur in this country or in this economy right now. Now, after that happened, what next was my thing. And I said, why should there be a next? Why am I pursuing the next thing every time?
Okay.
That was the first thing that came to me, because we are so caught up. At least I think I was caught up in the point, what next? Because people will ask you what next.
Yeah. This always,
Padhai kar liya, to what next?
yeah, spiral of doing and doing.
Yeah, it's only doing and doing and doing. So that was happening. And in the past 2.5 years, I've actually been doing nothing. I've been telling to people I'm retired, and I'm getting a lot of like things like, but you are not old. I said, you don't have to be old to be retired. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं घर में बैठ के चाय पी के सीनियर सिटीजन भी जैसे शाम के टाइम पे वॉकिंग कर रही हूँ, ऐसा नहीं है. I mean, it was very unusual for a lot of people to
back at I remember we were having this conversation back at Nehru.
Yeah.
You remember, and I remember you telling me that I'm retired, and I'm like, I can already take a lot of things, so it's okay. I mean, when you said you're retired, it's okay. But it did like, okay, she's retired.
Yeah. And of course, the next question was, तुम्हारे पास पैसे ज्यादा होंगे? I said, नहीं, पैसे ज्यादा नहीं है, बिल्कुल नहीं है. I have enough money to keep me comfortable and to survive. To survive and to not worry about the next meal. तो ऐसा नहीं है मेरा situation, but I don't want more than this. But then in this past 2.5 years, and especially after COVID last year, where all of us went into a lockdown and a lot of things, I think each one of them had their own internal battle or conflict or something. It made me actually think about purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was thinking like, more than, I mean, you said, what is my purpose? I link it to, why am I here right now? When you're talking about purpose, it also means, why am I here? And what should I do about it? What should I do? So now it is no longer what is next, because what is next, I believe it's very mainstream. It's a very mainstream, just a commercial cinema or art cinema hota hai na? The commercial part is what next? What is the next blockbuster coming from? But I think going beyond that, as you're talking about the purpose economy, which, if not more, few numbers, I'm sure there are some more numbers that are thinking about, what is this? What can I do? What is my purpose right now? What can I do? What is it that, why am I in this world at this point, at this time right now? And what can I do about it? So, yeah. So that could be one thing that maybe aligns with the purpose economy that you're talking about. I don't know if it is tangible, whether it can be seen.
Yeah, even my take from the book was that there is something about something, there's a talk in the air about having a purpose, or about employees finding their work meaningful. And it's also getting into the corporate system. Even they are realizing that I mean, how you meet this need of your purpose? That is another. I think that's another can be a very big discussion, because the book clearly takes it in a very economic sense. Like this, they say, like the organizations, like the organization, if you're working in, and that organization is not doing their or work very sustainably, or very good for the environment, or like if you're working in a cola company, and your company is actually doing bad for your health, then the employees also feel demotivated, and then the company is venturing into healthy beverages like that. So the book is very limited in a way, to the sense that the good part is it picks up the motion that, okay, there is a need for purpose that's coming up in this generation. It talks about like the millennials today, they are giving up their traditional career paths, and they are building up small businesses that are rooted in small communities. And they are ready to take that, not just being in that comfort zone कि कहीं job कर लिया कुछ हो जाएगा, वो challenges लेने को ready हैं. So and making that impact, that thing of like whatever I'm doing, like even the smallest employee of a company, like even a janitor or a watchman can feel that my company is working for that greater good for the humanity or for the world. So connected to that purpose. But of course, what you are saying is like I also feel that like there are two parts to it. One part is identifying there is a lack of purpose, asking ourselves that why are we here for. Then I also feel that how we answer that question is one way the book answers it. This can also be like few people also find it in a very spiritual context, a very philosophically they understand that what life can mean, and it can be a very spiritual journey for them to have this answer to their question. So yeah, so I think what I get a hint from you is like you're seeking it both ways. I mean, you tried also the economic front, that the work you are doing is also fulfilling, and you're also seeking it somewhere in you, like uh, some of the questions, it comes from deep inside, like you feel like as you said, that you experience a happy state.
Yeah.
The experience of a happy state. So yeah, what more can be said about this?
Well, I remember like yesterday I looked into one of your posts and there was a very interesting post in your Insta thing. I don't know who was the person, but he said that just being alive.
Oh, Alan Watts. Yeah, Alan Watts.
Yeah, that really, I don't know, it was like boom to me, as if on my face.
Yeah.
That I think it is as simple and as profound and as on your face as it can be.
Yeah.
Because no matter how much we spin words, it also brought me to this spin. Again, I'm aligning it with the purpose. Being alive and being and living are two different things. And this gentleman, Alan, right? His name is
Alan.
Yeah. Alive means like, I don't know, it really hit me very hard, Yeah. And I equated that, believe it or not, with the purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, being alive, is the purpose. Living is, as what we were thinking about, is going about life every single day with no I think most of us or most of the world or something go without a sense of awareness. And even if any awareness comes up, it gets submerged under a lot of stuff, That's what happens. And now, based on what you said with the book, coming back to the book, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you mentioned as an example the cola company.
Yeah.
The Coca-Cola company. Now, see, this is where I'll tell you, many years ago, or maybe when I was living in the US or something, I used to see an ad how Coca-Cola, the conglomerate company, is enabling that of one bottle of Coke being sold. This much percentage of the proceeds will go for sustainable water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, for me, that is so contradictory. Okay, it split my questions into two things. First of all, you guys are producing Coke, which is one of the most toxic things. Your factories are riddled with a lot of environmental waste, no matter what you do, but that's the way it is. And now you're telling, with these more sales, you're trying to be the good Samaritan, saying this part of the proceeds go to sustainable water, which is the very waters you guys are polluting wherever you set up factories.
Yeah.
That is one. Do I take it now? That kind of a question comes up from a very layman's point or from very activist point, saying that तुम्हारा work philosophy ही गलत है, तुम्हारा जो product है वही पूरा गलत है, तो क्या purpose कर रहे हो तुम लोग, या क्या sustainability के बारे में बात कर रहे हो? The other question came to me is that, should we see this as a greater good for a smaller evil happening, or smaller bad happening out there, that अच्छा जो भी प्रोडक्ट बनाए नो प्रॉब्लम, एटलीस्ट कुछ तो दे रहे हैं वो लोग.
Hmm.
So you see the split philosophy, the split thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So that question came into my mind. I mean, could you like, what do you think?
That's actually, I have gone through this book quite a times, and every time, like as I said, the book picks up the motion well, that abhi is generation mein, this 21st century, where we are so much equipped with things and we are so enabled. This is the first time, not few. I mean, there have always been people who have asked such questions or raised such questions, but this is the first time that it's happening at a very global level, that a lot of people
Okay.
are inquiring this. Okay, why am I here for? But how I see it, that you know how the current structure wants them not to go very far, and find them
Hmm.
and give them very satisfying answers to in this very system, like this cola company.
Hmm.
Cola company
Yeah.
wants to say, okay, you're not part of something bad, you're part of something good, because we are going to do sustainable businesses.
Exactly. Hmm. Hmm.
But I think, yeah, you can always pick something nice from everything. Now, so my take has always been this. Okay, like somebody is talking about it. There's a book about it. There are facts about it, and the book also reports various companies, like real life examples. This guy is working with a lot of companies to, to so that they can become, so the employees working there can feel more purposeful. Their agendas, they're working around that. So
Hmm.
the solutions that it offer, a lot of times even I didn't quite resonate with it. Even I felt like
Hmm.
some sort of cheating happening over there. And but yeah, what that's there.
That's what I wanted to, yeah, I wanted to ask you this question based on that, not specific to cola company. So when you are thinking about, I feel a purpose is also means a greater good, right? Do you think it aligns to greater good, a purpose?
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's more than a personal purpose, like your personal purpose can be anything, but some sort of societal or community purpose can have that thing, that impact. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
Okay.
can surely align.
Yeah. So when initially you were talking about purpose economy, the book, you spoke about an individual purpose as well as a societal purpose as well as a collective community purpose. Right? These are the various categories.
Yeah.
Now, from what I'm understanding with the purpose economy, as you're talking about in the book, as you were talking about this book, I believe like more and more people are talking about, or at least thinking about, as you said, it's in the air.
Yeah.
The wheels are set in motion, thinking that it's not just me. Like, how can I make in the most Miss India pageant answer I'll give you. I
Yeah.
want to make this world a better place. और Michael Jackson का जो एक quote होता है ना, I want to make this world a better place. So do you think that is also a part of this purpose economy, which is going that side? One of the effects of it is that collectively, community wise, people are thinking we want to make this world a better place.
Oh, sure. I feel that humans, I don't know, if we talk at some psychological level, no, like how we operate as humans, somehow doing something good for others has always been a cause of happiness for us. I mean, we as humans feel good about it. So
Hmm. Hmm.
finding a purpose in our life can be a, kind of a thing where we are helping others, or doing community stuff. So there's
Hmm.
a very great possibility that with this purpose economy whole,
Hmm.
merging up there, the tendency to do things that support the community, that support the
Yeah.
communities. Yes. And very interestingly, my friends of my, like my age, and people of and the kind of businesses they have done, that they're doing right now in Agra itself. Like one of my friends is doing this Agra Heritage Walks.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So he's doing a walk in the very old city of Agra. They engage with the local community. The food that is served over there is made by the women of that community, and
Wow.
working well he was working in IIT Bombay, but he left that institution to work in Agra, and you know the kind of resistance he got from his family, that what is he like, is he a tour guide now or what? But then but the way, and in fact I'm very thankful to him that how I have connected with with my own community in my city, because only
Mm,
through him
mm,
I went to those places, those streets, and connected with the local food and stuff. So that's very great. I mean, so
mm.
yeah, I think that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah. So because the way I look at it is that the purpose doesn't mean, it's big. Like, how do I put it? Uh, like what you spoke about Agra heritage walks. Thanks to you, I've been also following
Okay.
Agra heritage walks, and I really enjoy,
Yeah.
because it also reminds me, even in Hyderabad, there is Hyderabad heritage walks,
Yeah.
and not started by one person, but by proper Hyderabadis together who formed this collective,
Mm.
saying that let us educate people about our own old city, because we have such a rich architecture, we have a such rich culture. Because just like Agra, people talk about Taj Mahal,
Yeah.
Hyderabad people talk about Charminar and biryani.
Yeah.
So there is so much more besides these two. So there are local guides, there are young educated people who have gone ahead and become full tour guides instead of taking a 9 to 5 job and doing it. And that, I think, as what you're saying, is what is purpose economy. And it might look small in terms of action, you know, because not everybody can become a Tesla, or, you know, everybody can't
My,
do those humongous things. But these small things together make up a collective, drives the purpose forward, the overall purpose and goal forward, I believe.
yeah. No, in fact, there was something very interesting I was reading few days back. It was a discourse by Osho.
Mm.
So
Wow.
there he said very interesting thing. He said that like in this century, no, if you are a great mathematician, you can solve some very great problems in your mind, and but but in a very second, somebody would say, "Oh, you are just like a calculator." I mean,
Yeah.
and you can buy that calculator for some 20, 30 bucks or 40 bucks in the market, and suddenly everything you do, uh,
Mm.
you can be just compared to some sort of a machine, some sort of something, and that
Yeah.
makes you question that what am I, like who am I then? Because now you are not
Yeah.
a good mathematician. You're not even a great, you don't even if you have great muscle power, but there's a car in your garage that has a 100 horsepower in it. So like, I mean, like there is always anything you can boost off, anything that humans used to boost off, like I am this or that, has been a very has an alternative through a machine or something. So what makes us humans has become very important. Like what makes us, like, I mean, who we are. This question is
Mm.
becoming more and more important.
Yeah. Yeah. Who we are, I think, is a very one of the most complicated and hardest questions to think about. And yeah, I mean, great mathematician is one thing. Today, when you have this huge calculator that can do all kinds of stuff for you,
Yeah.
and that is, if you look at it right from the time you're waking up, other than the basic eating, sleeping, walking,
Mhm.
and other basic nature call stuff that you're doing, everything, if you look at it, is being done by machines most of your life right now. So where do we stand in this? Who we are then? Our intelligence has created these machines, I think, albeit with the purpose. I'm again putting back to back, along with the purpose of making our lives easier, more convenient. In one way, it is true, because that has made us convenient enough to think about these existential questions.
Yeah.
Now that we've gotten A, B, C, D, E, and still tells us that this is not the purpose, right? Yes, we have created this to keep us comfortable, comfort this, but so who we are, who are we? Who are we? Yeah.
Very, very interesting thing that just came to my mind. Uh,
Hmm.
if you a lot of doctors around, like you don't only suffer from pathological problems. I mean, it's not just pathogens that determine your health. A lot of
Mm,
doctors, especially functional medicine or alternative, alternate doctors who are
mm,
more into well-being and nutrition, they have started saying that a strong sense of purpose can actually have you have a very good health. Like a strong, like when you're waking up and you have a strong, a reason to do your things, and
mm,
that can actually very positively affect your health.
mm, mm.
There's a book by author Viktor Frankl. He was a psychologist, I guess. He was one of a Holocaust survivor during the Nazis time. So
Yeah, World War II.
he wrote this book,
Yeah.
uh, The Will to Meaning. I think the book is called The Will to Meaning. So there
Mm,
he describes that how people who had a stronger sense of purpose survived through the Holocaust, and so
yeah.
others lost easily on their lives. So
Mm,
there are also evidences by in medical fields also which prove that you
mm.
need to have a strong sense of purpose.
Yeah, yeah. Like I remember when I used to the first initial thing when I went to an ashram and I was taught yoga. Uh, you would think yoga is just about posture. So I went into the ashram thinking, oh, I will learn
Mm.
Surya Namaskara and all those yoga postures, asanas सीख लेंगे और फिर चले जाएंगे,
Yeah.
and I'll get my certificate. But the entire thing from 5 a.m. in the morning till 9 p.m., there was a purpose to it,
Mm.
which gave me a strong sense of going on. I am equating that with something, I mean, not equating with Holocaust, but I'm also talking about how when you have a strong sense of purpose, I agree with it, it something inside you really shifts.
Yeah.
You know that what you're doing or what your experience is so much bigger than who you are right now. The universe in its all sense is so much bigger than who we are, or all these mundane routine ka things that we are doing right now, which means even if it means getting up and reading something like as if it's by Osho or a Bhagavad Gita or some spirituality stuff that talks about, make meaning of your life, make some meaning out of about your life and what you want to do. I think that is something I'm hoping that a lot of people are feeling it. For me, I'll especially again put again into context with last year's lockdown and COVID and everything. Could have the numbers could have increased. I don't know.
Yeah, and
Maybe I'm being too.
it's not like
Huh.
that people never had any. I mean, we can't be really biased about it that it's just us who are questioning this.
No, no, no,
But
no, no.
I mean,
Huh.
like even the religious people, that like they have a purpose to their lives, that they have to do something good over here, and they will go to some sort of
Yeah,
and then they. But right now, I mean, with our intelligences and with the kind of knowledge we have, a lot of us have started. Some have become atheist, some are questioning
yeah.
God, and some are questioning the established purposes. Like to
Mm.
do a certain thing, get a job, get married, or have kids, and then die one day. And like some people are questioning,
Yeah,
maybe this more deeper sense to life, that deeper touch is required. And as you said, the lockdown was really a time where I think many people who in their lives never, were who always followed their routine, that was a time for them to also think like,
yeah, yeah. So when you were talking about how humankind was initially, all the economies you were talking about, right? First one, it was about a man from a hunter, he became a food gatherer.
yeah.
You know, yeah, food. Fire changed
Grower,
everything.
actually, not really a gatherer, he became a grower. He started growing his own food, like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And once he discovered fire, it burst. Yeah, yeah. So it came into survival when you're talking about. I am talking on the other side of spectrum. Maybe it's out of topic here or something. I'm talking about, I don't know if you can call it this word, like the greed economy. Greed. I will not put a word like capitalism or communism. No, no, no. I'll not say neither, both are evil or both are great, because there are a lot of debates on that. But I'm just talking about greed. You know, one thing is man is comfortable right now. So a few of them, and maybe more number of people in your generation, more number of people, maybe fewer people in my generation, maybe, but they are thinking about it. What do you think about, but with this survival thing also happened something called greed, the sense of accumulation of wealth all the time. Surely that is also a purpose for them. I'm not talking about purpose is a purpose, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
mean,
how would you put that? How would you view it? That's what I want to know.
yeah, I think making wealth is one of the primary purposes. I mean, like if you look around, that's what's happening everywhere. I mean, that's what is that's what gets in your head. Like after you are done, like okay, get wealth. I mean, if I really look around, and summarize, like that's what is happening all the time.
Yeah.
When more wealth.
So in that context, I wanted to know again, and this is just out of curiosity because I'm trying to make my head or turn, make sense of this. How much more is required? How much is enough for a man? Because the greed economy and the purpose of that, of accumulating, whether it's assets in terms of land or wealth, or, what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, I think it can really. What works here is mostly something we call a peer pressure. Whatever is enough in your peer group. I think humans like to accumulate to that level. Like if somebody in your immediate family, immediate friends, like whatever they have, you want to accumulate to that level. And of course, there is no end to it. Like I mean, our whole economy is like the current economy. If you look at it, it's based on the concept of interest. Like if we really look at what is interest, our money is constantly growing, while in the nature
Hmm.
nothing, everything decomposes.
Yeah.
You don't keep a packet of bread and it grows into two packets of bread.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
It decomposes, it rots away. But the money is something, it works very against the nature of law. It's growing every time. I mean, you have something called interest, and every money that you have has a certain interest on it. Your money is some saving account. You are trying to.
Yeah.
In that way, there is really no end. I mean, that's very. I would say it's very stupid of us to think of a infinite economy in a finite world. Like I mean, like Earth is finite with finite resources, and you are talking about
Yeah.
your like where is your money going to stop?
Yeah.
I mean, is it going to
Yeah.
be a $5 trillion economy, $15 trillion economy? Like what $1 trillion will you say, okay, now we need to stop?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not, I mean, that can be a very, again, a very lengthy discussion of how our current economy operates. And I mean, the greed is inbuilt in there. Like it's inbuilt
Yes.
there. Because every time the money is growing, every time you're taking some money from somebody, there is interest on it. You need to grow, you need to harvest more and more resources, things that were free or abundant in the economy. Like now we are selling bottled water. I mean, what do we say? Like there was water every time. It was abundant, but now there is bottled water, and maybe in some years we'll have bottled oxygen, air, good air, and we already have air purifiers at home. So we are trying to get everything under the ambit of economy, under the ambit of money system. So it will. I don't know where it will stop and where people thinks that it's enough. I've never
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody saying that it's enough until he's really exhausted and tired. Otherwise, nobody says it's enough.
Yeah. I mean, because when you were talking about finite and infinite, I was just thinking about something like what we are trying to do is at one point of time, as you say, water was abundant, you know,
Yeah,
air is infinite.
yeah,
Now we are trying to make everything finite, like controlling it into a jar or a bottle or something. And you were speaking about oxygen, it made me think, I mean, US knowing it's very crazy. About 10 years ago when I was in Las Vegas, they had an oxygen bar to breathe free oxygen into tubes,
Yes.
you know? So I found it very crazy saying that what the hell is happening? They're saying, oh, Las Vegas is so polluted because we're under smokes.
Yeah.
And then now, you know, you walk into this bar, you have 2 tubes sticking up to your nose like a patient, and you have juices and, you know, you eat whatever. And I'm like, we create this pollution. We created on a desert, this rambling casinos, which is full of smoke and whatnot, with absolutely no sense of darkness or light and no nature. And now to counteract this, we are just going and creating one new brand of business that says you'll get fresh oxygen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole funny part of it, no? Like things that were once free or really abundant, we're just making a packet out of it and commodifying it. So that is, but that will happen with the kind of economy we have. If we want to grow, if if there is something we always want growth, then what is growth? How will we achieve growth? Something has to be sold, something will have to come under the ambit of services and goods. It's not that people were not existing or not living many years back. They were still living, but now if you were consuming one, suppose if you were using a one mobile phone all your life, now you need to change it 10 or 20 mobile phones so that the economy of mobile phones can get bigger and bigger. So
yeah.
but yeah, I think with this, I mean, like it's a big discussion and we can go everywhere with this. I would ask you something. That I know about that you hike a lot. You take a lot of treks, do a lot of treks on Himalayas. And can you tell me how taking treks or going on such adventurous hikes, how does it help you find does that help you find a meaning in your life? Does it ever help you? Uh,
uh, well, the first trek that I went into, I trekked and backpacked, and I went into Ladakh and everything. And it was this one because I was never a mountain person. I was always a beach person. Like, agar beach hai, mountain hai, so what are you going to do sitting looking at a silly mountain and look at a beach? But Ladakh changed all that. Okay. I think I'll tell you only one word that makes me go back to the mountains again and again. Simply, it makes me feel completely, truly insignificant, like a monkey. Okay. That puts a lot of things into perspective, because we give, I think, ourselves a lot of importance as humans and as individuals. We believe that, whatever we are doing or not doing makes a lot of impact. I mean, I'm talking from not a positive sense of way, from a very egoistic, bloating way, कि अगर मैं ये नहीं करूँगा आज तो, oh my God, who's going to do this? But we are all replaceable,
Yeah.
And Himalayas, mountains, as in specifically Himalayas, because for me that is the ultimate mountain range, what our country offers, actually even the world offers, makes me feel I am nothing, zero, ground zero se kam hai. And I think that is what only I've realized over the years makes me want to go back there again and again. It goes beyond just admiring the beauty of nature, or it's beautiful, it's paradise, and Himalayas tells you you have to be worth it to come towards me. It means 10 days of trekking and getting bleached in the sun for 10 hours and then freezing -2 degrees and shivering. If that is what it means to come to me, to see me, you come. But besides all that, as I told you, when the meaning of life is just that, first thing it taught me was I'm very insignificant. Koi farak nahi padta. Mere ko is my place in this earth. It's in a very realistic way, honestly. It's a proper ego destroyer.
Okay. Yeah.
proper ego destroyer, because तुम कितना भी fit हो, तुम कितना भी young हो, I mean, all the illusions about yourself at least cracks away, if not completely destroyed. You realize that. And with that comes the meaning in life. It comes later, you know. It's just like what we do in our meditation workshops. कि ऐसा नहीं है कि that feeling of 5-6 days is very nice. जो भी है, we are all talking to each other meditation के time पे, and even the next day, give a feedback. It's easy at that point of time, but the effect of it runs much later. So trekking is also equivalent to that. कि एक ट्रेक करने के बाद जब वापस आओगे, it just slowly grows onto you. You know, as in like तुम क्या हो, क्या चीज हो तुम. It puts things into perspective and you realize कि man, अगर कल मैं चल बसी तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. मतलब सिर्फ फैमिली मेंबर्स रोएगी, शायद 1 साल, उसके बाद हो जाएगा. But then that again I'm attaching it to what also made me think about purpose. How do I make it with some meaning in my life, some sense?
Yeah.
That's why I said you should trek too.
Yeah, I've been checking the link you have sent me yesterday and just preparing myself, you know, maybe this year, next year. Yes, I have to be
this year 2021.
Yeah, I've been reading their fitness requirements, their BMI indexes, and what not all they are asking.
I'm sure you will come under the BMI, just that you have to run 5 kilometers in 35 minutes and send it to them. That's it, nothing much.
Yeah.
आराम से भाग सकते हो.
So
yeah.
Yes. So summing it up, I mean, this whole inquiry of meaning or purpose is as I said, like it's not the first time that's happening in the world. It has always been there. Few people have always questioned it a lot. But now, while this is happening on a more global level, it's really interesting to see how it will unfold, because I mean, really, this is a very extraordinary times we are living. I mean,
True.
It's an exponential. I mean, everything is happening at an exponential rate. It's not linear. No, it's not no more linear. It's the things. I mean, if somebody who has not been in the world for 40 years and now if he comes back, he will not be able to recognize what people are doing. Like he will have no. So yeah, I think all these external changes that are happening in be it biotech, technology, space, whatever, it's really changing our outer world, and that's also forcing us to question our inner worlds. I mean, now we can see that not just the inner world. I mean, as it is commonly said that it's not permanent or things are always changing. We're always seeing it at a external level. And whatever, and these technologies and everything, they are also changing our social structures. How do we relate to each other, and how do we find a sense of purpose in our lives, and like they're really changing it all. So yeah, I think so far it has been a fruitful discussion.
I think I'll just say my bit, just one line. I think when you said extraordinary times, it's absolutely 100% true, because I think people are not conforming to what has been set for them all these years. They're breaking barriers, these 2 words, which is where I think the purpose is also coming about, because all these external ones are helping them, aiding them to go ahead and question the system. You know, and I see it like one of the wonderful things about Instagram is, like, unlike Facebook, you can follow what you want to follow, your topics of interest, and you can see what you want to see, what people are doing. So I see a purpose in people not conforming to a religion. It's good or bad is a personal opinion. I will not get into that, because each one of us, our faith and our religion is a very personal thing. But I see people not conforming to religion. I see people not conforming to gender. you know,
Mm.
and I see people not conforming even to how they wealth, you know, as you say, like your friends you've seen who's an IIT person who could have earned like a big salary per year getting into and starting something that he wants to do.
Yeah.
So for me, these are definitely extraordinary times where I think we can actually question and ask these questions, not just to ourselves, but to a lot of other people, you know,
Yeah.
which was not the case, I don't think that it was the case even 20 years ago.
No, no, no. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it is,
Absolutely.
I yeah, yeah.
Anytime we can just go. I mean, this whole feature, I tend to think it very. I'm very surprised whenever I see this live feature. Like you, we have this picture of having big TV vans which air you, and Doordarshan and all, and now you just click a button and you are live. Like you are, everything is just getting broadcasted. So much of power you have, like so much of power.
Yeah, yeah. And we have built this intelligence to make it for us,
Yeah.
which is internally making us, you know, think beyond this and saying, you know, which is exactly true. So whatever people might think, I believe we are living in the best of times, not as in the worst of times as people would like to think about. I mean, my take is that we are living in the best of times where we have the chance to be fluid, you know,
Mhm.
ऐसे अटल के रह के एक ही थॉट प्रोसेस में रहने के लिए जरूरत नहीं है, यू नो, वी कैन शिफ्ट, सो आई थिंक इट्स ग्रेट, या.
Okay. So,
या.
so I think it's
सो
yeah, you have more.
I think this is a great beginning, and I truly I mean, I'm not trying to be formal, but thank you for inviting me for this. Because it's been really long time, huh?
Thank you for joining and like joining in me. I mean, you are my like the first person I've talked to on such a platform.
I'm sure you'll do better with more number of people and different people, which I think is there. But I want to thank you simply because I haven't had this kind of talk honestly since you know, we last met. Not just with you. I
Okay.
mean, not just with you, but after that happened in January and everything, I've really not had this kind of a talk with anybody, simply because, you know, it's all man mein hota hai,
Mm.
and you need a right receiver. You know, it has to be a give and take. And I also realize that this is something that can never be planned.
Yeah, very.
As in, like, yeah, it's impromptu, because you don't earmark a person and say like, ये बंदा है, so इसके साथ मैं आज ये topic बात करूंगी, ऐसा नहीं है. So I have to be thankful to you, because it made me also ask a lot of things, and I also got a few answers. So thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll just stop the recording now.
Okay.